Right. Ubisoft. What the f are you doing? You've made such great titles such as Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, Ghost Recon, one of my personal favourites, Splinter Cell. What kind of mad issue are you trying to pull? I'm not very much of a ranty person, but this is a topic which has been spoke about insanely on YouTube and stuff, and just literally the internet in general. But nothing quite makes me almost laugh, and it just my mind explodes with this. I do genuinely believe it is an actual threat to modern gaming. I'm gonna explain why. Let's start from something that we all know is wrong. Okay, so say I want to sell you this tech deck. You're going to buy this tech deck. It's an Element tech deck, so I sell it to you for maybe £1 more. I don't know. There you go. Thank you. Here's my money. Thank you. Right. You now own the tech deck, but you don't, because I said so. That's literally how this is operating. So I'm just going to take that tech deck back from you and just keep all the money. That is quite literally what is happening. So Ubisoft reportedly revoking the crew from owners' libraries following server shutdown. Why? It's an online game. Okay, they have made the choice to make it an online game. Whatever. So many modern games do this. You can't just take away people's stuff. It's literally theft. You've taken people's money, you've given them a product or a service in return, and you've just taken it away. But you haven't given any sort of compensation or anything. You haven't been like, oh, as a thing, we are going to shut down the crew, but you can have this game which is still active, or you can have this other form of compensation or something. But instead, nothing. Instead, it is literally, they're taking away your game. I'm baffled. I'm actually baffled. It is actually quite insane. It kind of goes into one of their things that they said, which has definitely blown up, right? Brace yourself for this one. This is where it gets just so insane. One of the things we saw is that gamers are used to, a little bit like DVD, having and owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen. Immediately, what? If you buy a DVD, you own a DVD. I still have DVDs I bought years ago. What are you on about? They got comfortable not owning their CD collection or DVD collection. That's literally not true. I literally still own CDs and DVDs. That's a transformation that's been a bit slower to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable with that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game at another time, your progress file is still there. It has not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built in the game or your engagement with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game. This just absolutely boggles my mind. So I get what he's trying to say. I don't, actually. I don't. But I do kind of understand the angle of what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that with things like DVD and music and all this kind of thing, you've got like streaming services like Spotify and Netflix and Disney Plus and all this kind of stuff, right? I stream a lot of my music on Spotify. And I still collect CDs and stuff. I have like collector's editions and things. Sometimes if I really like an album, I'll actually just buy it because I really like it and I want to support whoever it is, as well as I just like collecting physical things. But what I don't understand is this whole thing of, well, you need to get used to not owning your game. That is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard, right? Because even though, yes, I stream a lot of stuff nowadays, and yes, I own things like Game Pass and whatnot for games where I just download them, and I don't physically own them because they can get taken off of the platform. If I buy something physical, or if I buy, even if it's not physical, even if it's digital, if I buy that product, I own the use of that product. But what Ubisoft is doing is literally theft. You can't take people's money and then keep it and just take away what they bought with that money. I know that these are fairly older games, but like that, it to me is just no excuse. I've got a whole rack of PS2 games down there, and I can still play them whenever I want. Yeah, so this is what Kotaku has said. Ubisoft wants to see a consumer shift similar to that in the market for CDs and DVDs, where people have moved over to Spotify and Netflix instead of buying physical media to keep their own shelves. Given that most people, while being a part of the problem, also think of this as a problem, it's so weird to see it phrased as if some faulty thinking in the company's audience. It also does, it's almost like they're trying to excuse what they're doing. You need to get used to not owning your games because streaming is a thing, and these paid services are a thing. Yes, they are, but a lot of people didn't buy games on that. And the prices of Ubisoft Plus, I am definitely 100% sure that is like the lowest subscribed to service that there is. Talking about Ubisoft prices, Star Wars Outlaws coming out, right? We all know Star Wars. We all have at least heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, where have you been? This is the pricings for all of the editions of Star Wars Outlaws. Standard edition, 60 quid. To be fair, not bad. I know in some countries it's absolutely humongous, right? But you get the base game and that's it. But 60 quid, it's a modern game. I mean, you definitely get other games that are priced at that range. Gold edition. So you get 3 days early access and the season pass. 95 quid. Okay, so pretty standard prices, right? You can get games for more expensive than that. That's fine. I do think that the price for the amount that you get is very interesting. But if you're a massive fan, I mean, fill your boots. Here is where I fundamentally disagree with the entire thing. Are you ready? Strap yourselves in. We're about to go on a bit of a ride. The Ultimate Edition. You get the base game, the pre-order bonus, the 3 days early access, and the season pass. Everything you get in the $95 one. And then you get a digital art book. £115. What? You've got to be joking. So you get an art book, a digital art book, not a physical one. You get a digital art book for an extra 20 quid on top. Why? I'm baffled. Also, speaking about the streaming services, just on here while it's there, £15 a month for Ubisoft Plus, which is just Ubisoft games, similar to Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and all of that. Why? Why is that so much? Why is that so high? You can literally get any other gaming service for cheaper than that. I think Game Pass is like £10 a month. I think PlayStation Plus is similar. I don't know the exact price, and so I'm not going to say, because I'm not going to try and make you believe what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to say what I think. Here is another thing. This is the price in Australia. Yep, you read that right. $200. 200 Australian dollars you can spend to get exactly what's in the gold edition plus a digital art book. $200. Ooh-wee. If you buy the Ultimate Edition, you're a fool. I guarantee you that that is going to go on sale extremely quick, and you'll be able to get the digital art book for less than the original standard game price. But this all kind of ties back into what he was saying. So don't get comfortable with owning your games, right? Okay, so if you're going to spend that much money on a game and you're not supposed to be comfortable that you've spent £120 or 200 Australian dollars on a game, if that doesn't count as ownership, I do not know what does. There's a very, very good saying that's been popping up all over the place in regards to Ubisoft, but in regards to anything, really. If buying isn't owning, stealing isn't theft. If you buy something and that you still don't gain ownership of that product, then what do you have to do to actually own it? Yeah, Ubisoft, what are you doing? Let's move on to a different company. Overwatch and Mythic skins. What Overwatch decided to do, which I will say I jumped on the bandwagon for as well when they announced it, was you can now get these Mythic prisms, which you can spend in the Mythic shop to get Mythic skins for characters. And any character that's been or had a Mythic skin in any of the battle passes through previous seasons. That sounded sick to me because obviously I've missed out on quite a bit. I had a bit of a break from the game because I was not enjoying it, and games are meant to be enjoyed. So I thought, yeah, this is sick. Like, I can get some of my favorite Mythic skins, which I missed out on before. Have a guess how much mythic tokens are 10 mythic prisms, £8.39. Who's going to pay that? Unless you're some kind of simp for mercy or something. Like, honestly, you might ask, so what actually are these mythic prisms? Well, here is a handy diagram. Guess what you can get with 10 mythic prisms? Nothing. For the first level, which, by the way, you need the first level to go up the levels, 50. So £8 does not get you the skin. £8 for a digital, one singular digital item in itself is ludicrous. But even that's not enough to buy the skin. How much do you need? Well, 50, 60, 70, 80. To get all the way up the mythic skins, you need 80 prisms. Okay. And let's be real, if you're going to buy a mythic skin, you're going to go in hard, aren't you? You're going to go in and get the whole mythic skin. Oh, look, you can't buy 80 prisms. You either buy 50, which is not enough, or you buy 100, which is too much. So let's say you've even seen this and you're like, but I really, really want that mythic skin. Fine, right? Okay, so if you want to get a mythic skin, you go for it. I'm not here to tell you that you can't. If you are a massive simp over these characters, that's way too harsh. I'm going to change that. If you are a huge fan of any of these characters, you go for it. Honestly, whatever you do with your money is up to you. I'm not trying to advise you financially or anything, but what I am going to say is if you want to get a mythic skin, you're paying £35. No. Why would I ever spend £35 on a skin which isn't even the full skin? I don't even get the whole mythic skin. I literally get the first stage of a mythic skin for £35. I could buy a Ubisoft game with that. Okay, yeah, but well, maybe I could get 50 and then 10. So I'll get 50 and then 3 10s. Let's work that out. Oh dear, I'm terrible at maths. I've just realised. I haven't just realised, I always knew it. That's £60. That is £60 you are spending on one singular skin, but the full skin this time, not just the first stage. It's £60. Are you going to pay £60 for a skin? You can quite literally buy Star Wars Outlaws with that. So now you're going to say, hey, Jack, but why don't I just buy the 100 then? Because then at least I'll have some mythic prisms left over. One, you'll have enough mythic prisms left over for nothing. And two, you're spending 64 quid on 100 prisms. And you're only going to get the right amount for one skin and then 20 spare. You can't buy anything with 20. Honestly, your best bet is going through the Battle Pass. It does require you playing it quite a lot, but if you do actually manage to complete the Battle Pass, you will get 80 mythic prisms, and you'll spend, like, I've forgotten how much it is, it's like 10 or something, which is considerably less than 60. The only, obviously, caveat to that is you've got to play the game, which is fine, because the game is meant to be played. The only thing, if you've not played Overwatch before, is the Battle Pass does take quite a while to actually rank up, which is fine. I personally am just going to go through the Battle Pass. Insane. Okay, moving on to my final little rant of this video. This one hits me a bit harder than all of the others because I was personally really, really looking forward to this game. Dragon's Dogma 2 runs like ish. Dragon's Dogma 2 is pretty good. Like, the combat is great, it's fluid, the different like visual effects and stuff are amazing, everything is cool. But it runs really, really bad. If you enter a town, in any town in that game, you will be running at like 2 frames per second, and that's it. Frames aren't everything, I know. But it literally means that you can't do anything. You can't even walk around town without bumping into things. You can't walk around town without random things popping in, like NPCs. I've heard of a couple of different reasons for this. Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't run particularly well on next-gen console platforms. That's an understatement. This is due to the fact that the game runs at an uncapped 30 FPS while clearly favouring high-fidelity textures over an optimised frame rate. Stupid. Why? Just have Like 30 FPS is fine, but if that's the case, just dumb it down a little bit. Don't have so much high fidelity on the screen all at once that makes your game literally just completely break down. Like you're chugging like shovel coal into your new gen system. There's not even any options to change the graphics. In other games, for example, one that springs to my mind is a game like Biomutant. Okay, so Biomutant, if you have it on performance mode, it's great. If you have it on the graphics mode, I've forgotten what it's called in that game, it does stutter because it's trying to keep it at 60 frames per second plus, and it's still trying to load all these high fidelity textures. But there's an option for it. If you don't want it to look as crisp and as amazing, and you want it just to dial it down just a little bit, not even massively noticeably, just to get that consistent frame rate and a smooth gaming experience, then you can do that. That's an option. Dragon's Dogma 2, that's not an option. You literally have to put up with the frame rate drops, even if it means that you're literally walking around like a little slideshow. The other reason that I saw for this maybe happening was that there's too many NPCs around. Like it spawns in too many things, too many variables that are all kind of doing their own thing. Stupid. As far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned, this is literally just really, really poor game design, because you could either just not have as intense graphics or not have as many things in the town at once. Problem sorted. Why does it have to be that you're pushing the engine or whatever it is that's running the game to its literal breaking point? It literally breaks. It's not a breaking point, it's broken. And it's been that way since launch. Dragon's Dogma 2 has been out for a while now, and it's been that way for the whole thing, for the whole time. This is my problem with modern gaming. So when you are paying full price for a game, companies are telling you to expect to not to own it. And even if companies don't agree with that, you are 9 times out of 10 getting a worse experience because they've released an unfinished product. This is obviously not the case all the time. There are games that come out which are amazing. And one that really sticks out in my mind recently, well, in recent times, was Hogwarts Legacy. That released, and that was incredible. Literally from day one. Like, yes, there were some things, there were some little exploitable things, there were some little bugs, whatever. It's a game. It's allowed to have those. But it was a smooth, solid experience, and it worked. And you didn't need to put up with anything. You're paying 60 quid for these. You're paying £60 plus for these. Why do you have to put up with poor game design? That's my whole take. Take all 3 of these little segments. Not owning your games, literally stealing your games off of you. Ludicrous prices for a digital art book. Ludicrous prices for games which aren't even finished. Why, as the consumer, do we have to put up with that? I don't understand. Those are my rants. All of them have been covered in some capacity, but I just wanted to share my views because I can. With that being said, if you enjoy any of these games, I'm not trying to slate your games. You can enjoy what you enjoy. I personally still really enjoy Dragon's Dogma 2. As I say, the combat is really fun. The performance and stuff is not. The performance and stuff is, quite frankly, not acceptable in the modern gaming world, especially when the reasoning is so obviously fixable. You know, I am fully prepared to hold my hands up when I'm wrong. If I am wrong about anything, come at me. I don't care. I'm all about learning. Just come and tell me what it actually is. However, if you spout me any kind of issue, like,
oh, but, 35 quid for one part of a skin is really not that bad.
Oh, but Mercy's really hot in that.
I don't care. You're paying 35 quid for a digital person. You're not even paying 35 quid for a digital person. You're paying 35 quid for a skin of a digital person you already have. That's insane. If you can say that back to me with a straight face, oh dear. Oh, modern gaming is doomed. Modern gaming is not doomed. Indies are picking up. Indies are really, like, some of the indie games you can play nowadays are insane. Subscription services aren't bad. Neither is owning physical copies. You can do what you want. You can do what you want with your money. I'm not trying to advise you on anything. I'm not trying to make you believe anything. What I am trying to do is tell you that these companies are not getting any better, and you need to be smart. Don't just buy into anything. Just at least give it a little bit of thought first. If you want to now go and buy Star Wars Outlaws, I'm not going to shun you. I'm not going to think that you're a bad person. I'm not going to think that you're terrible with money. I'm just going to think, don't buy the Ultimate Edition. Okay, all right. That's enough from me. Bye.